Let's say someone said, I don't like it when people are rude. Okay? So, I don't like it when people are rude. And you disagree with that. It does not bother you. So you would say, not me. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. So, not me. It doesn't bother me. Okay? So we have the word bother. Okay? Alright, bother. Bother. Alright? So basically the word bother, what it means is, it means something that you do not like. You don't like it at all. Okay? That's bother. Okay? Alright. I don't want to be an engineer. I don't want to be an engineer. And you disagree. And you say, no, not me. I've always wanted to be an engineer. Or I love being an engineer. Okay? Not me. I would love to be an engineer. Okay. If someone said, I want to be a lawyer, and you disagree with that, you could say something like, I can't stand lawyers. They take too much money. Or, I can't stand lawyers. I don't understand the law. Okay? I can't stand this. Or, not me. I'd rather be an accountant. I would rather be an accountant. Alright? Or if someone said, I like cooking. I like cooking. I like cooking. And then you say, no, not me. I can't stand cooking. It takes too much time. I can't stand cooking. It takes too much time. Okay? I can't stand cooking. It takes too much time. Alright. Let's move on. So now, let's complete the following sentences with words that you have learned that will complete the meaning. Okay? So, I am a fan of, and name an actor or an actress. Okay? So someone you know that we've discussed here in classes before. Okay? So I'm a fan of a person. Okay? So let's say we've taken before Will Smith. Okay? So you say, I'm a fan of Will Smith. I am a fan of Will Smith. Now, if I said I'm a fan of Will Smith, and you agreed to that, you agreed to being a fan of Will Smith, then what would you say? You would say, so am I. So am I. Okay? I'm a fan of Leonardo DiCaprio. So am I. That we have. So I like to eat. Name something you eat at the movies. So maybe it's something like, let's say, candy. Okay, candy. Or you like to eat some pizza. Or drink soda. Or even chocolate during the movie. Okay? Alright. So, if you agree with that, if you agree with eating snacks, let's say you like to eat candy at the movies. Okay? And you agree. What would you say? You would say, so do I. So do I. How about if you disagreed? What would you say? If you disagreed, you would say, not me. I prefer potato chips. I prefer potato chips. So I prefer some chips, some Pringles or Lay's. I prefer pretzels. I prefer pretzels. Okay? Alright, now, read the following dialogue, and then practice making sentences of your own. Okay, so what shall we do? Hi, Chris. Would you like to do something with me this weekend? Sure. What shall we do? I don't know. Do you have any ideas? Why don't we see a film? That sounds good to me. Which film shall we see? Let's see Action Man 4. Okay, and then he said, I'd rather not. I don't like violent films. How about going to Mad Dr. Brown? I hear it's quite a funny film. I hear it's quite a funny film. Okay, let's see that. Okay, let's see that. When is it on? It is on at 8 at the Rex. Shall we have a bite to eat before the film? Sure, that sounds great. What about that new Italian restaurant, Giovanni's? Great idea. Let's meet there at 6. Okay. I'll see you at Giovanni's at 6. Bye. Bye. Alright, now let's read this one more time and let's analyze what's happening here. Okay? So, here we have, he says, Hi Chris, would you like to do something with me this weekend? This right here is a request. Okay? This is called a request. Okay? A request. You're asking someone to do something with you. Okay? You're asking someone to do something. Alright, so the same thing is if you ask someone to use your phone. May I use your phone? Can I use your phone? Okay? So let's take a look here at words we use. So making requests. Alright, so making a request, we will use words like may, can, and would, or even could. Okay? So may, can, would, and could. These are words that we use when we wish to ask for a request. So let's use them in examples. For example, okay? Let's make this a bit bigger. Okay. And let's say here, may I take you out to dinner? tonight? May I take you out to dinner tonight? So the person here is asking, he's requesting to take someone to dinner. So may I take you out to dinner? And then you would respond with, sure, I'd love to. Sure, I'd love to. Sure, I'd love to. Or you could say that. It's another way of saying it. That would be great. Okay? So, may I take you out to dinner? You say, sure, I'd love to. Or, that would be great. But how about if you cannot? You're busy. Or you have other things to do. Then you would say something like, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. I have work tonight. I'm sorry, I can't. I have work tonight. And then you, just to be nice, say, maybe next time. Maybe next time. Okay? So I'm sorry, I can't. I have work tonight. Maybe next time. Another way of refusing, okay, is to say, I would love to, but. I would love to, but I have some work tonight. I would love to, but I have some work tonight. Okay? So that's using may. How about using can? Alright, now using can is a little bit different from may. Okay? When we use can is more of a yes or no type of a question. Okay? So can, so it's more direct. It's more straightforward. It's more serious. Okay, so for example, can you drive a car? Or let's make a request out of it. Can I drive your car? Okay, now what would be the difference between saying, may I drive your car, and can I drive your car? Can I drive your car? There's nothing wrong with that. But saying, may I drive your car is actually better. Okay? It's better because it's more polite. Okay? It has more manners. It has more manners with it. Alright? So, may I drive your car? Alright? So, if I drive your car, there's nothing wrong with that. But saying may is a lot better. Okay? Now, using would and could, they're a little bit different. Okay? Now, using would is actually very, very polite. Okay? So you would say something like, would you allow me to take you out to dinner tonight? Would you allow me to take you out to dinner tonight? Do you see how nice that sounds? It's actually quite, it shows the romanticness of the English language in it. So, would you allow me to take you out to dinner tonight? is very nice and very sweet. It's a very nice way of asking someone for something. And it's very hard to say no when someone asks you something in such a polite way. So when someone uses their manners and they say, would you allow me to take you out to dinner tonight? Or would you allow me to drive your car? Okay? So it's a way of saying, please, let me drive your car, or please, let me take you out to dinner. Okay? So it's a way of being creative and saying please with your words. Okay? And the same would go for could. Could, but could is also more straightforward. So, could you come to dinner tonight? Could you come to dinner tonight? It's very straightforward. It's not really as welcoming as would or may. So when you're asking someone for something, if you really want them to give it to you or to say yes, you'll be better off by saying, using may or using would. Okay? Alright, great. So now we know all about making a request. Alright? When we want to answer the question, so either say yes or no, we could say sure, we could say I'd love to, we could say that would be great. All of that is agreeing. But if we disagree, then we have to say what? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't. But maybe next time. I would love to, but I have work to do. Okay? Now you should also make sure that when you say this, you say it with the proper intonation. Okay? What is intonation? Intonation is how you say something. Okay? So for example, if I'm going to write this sentence, and I will say the sentence twice. Okay. I will say the sentence twice, and I want you to think, is there a difference in the way I say it? Okay? Number one. She got a dog. She got a dog. She got a dog. Okay? Number two. She got a dog? She got a dog? She got a dog? Is there a difference between she got a dog and she got a dog? What do you think? Yes, there actually is a big difference, even though I said the same thing. The only thing that changed was my intonation, is how I said it. So by saying, she got a dog, this is an affirmative sentence, okay? It is an affirmative sentence where we see that there is a full stop or a period at the end. While in the second one where I said, she got a dog, this is actually a question. And it shows that I'm surprised, I'm shocked. She got a dog, okay? So, I say this because when we're talking with other people, if I went to say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't, I got work to do, you don't look sorry. So the person thinks that you're lying. You will break their hearts. Okay? So you want to sound with what we call, you want to say it with empathy. Okay? You want to say it with empathy. Empathy is feeling the other person. How would they feel? If someone offered you some help, and if you offered someone help, let's say you're driving your car, and you see someone on the highway walking, and you stop your car to help him, and you said, "Can I help you, or can I drive you home?" And he said, "Get away from me." No. How would you feel? You feel very sad by the way he said that. But if the person said, "Thank you so much for offering. I'm just walking because I'm thinking of something, but thank you so much," you would feel good on the inside because they did not hurt your feelings. They said it with empathy. So if you are to refuse someone, you should refuse them with empathy. And so you change your voice. And so you would say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I have work to do. Maybe next time." While when you're saying yes, you have to look excited. Say, "Oh, yes, I'd love to." Do you see the difference? If someone said to you, "Oh, I'd love to," you feel like, "Oh, he doesn't really want to do it." Okay? So you want to sound the proper way. Okay? So now we know all about how to make a request and how to answer the request with either agreeing or refusing. And also we learn about intonation. So how do I speak? How do I say it to that person? Okay. So, "Hi Chris, would you like to do something with me this weekend?" Okay, so here, he used would. So we see that we said would is a way where people would rarely say no to. It's a nice way of asking. And so he said, "Sure. What shall we do? What shall we do?" So he's asking a question. What should we do today? And so he said, "I don't know. Do you have any ideas?" He's asking now for a suggestion. Okay? He's asking for a suggestion. Alright? And so he said, "Why don't we see a film? Why don't we see a film?" Okay? And so he said, "That sounds good to me. Which film shall we see? Which film shall we see?" And so he says, "Let's see Action Man 4. Let's see Action Man 4. Okay? So far, so good. We see there was a request, and then he answered the request in a positive way, and then they asked for suggestions. Okay? So what should we do today? And then he said, "Let's watch this." Alright, so now what happens next is he says, "I'd rather not." He's disagreeing. He's saying, "No, I don't want to do that. I don't like violent films. I don't like violent films." Okay? So if you are to refuse someone, tell them why. Don't just say no. Tell them why. So, "No, I don't want to do this because I don't like this." And then you always get a solution. Okay? So, "I'd rather not. I don't like violent films. How about going to Mad Dr. Brown? How about going to Mad Dr. Brown? I hear it's quite a funny film. And then he says, okay, let's go see that. When is it on? When is it on? And he says, it is on at 8 o'clock at the Rex. Shall we have a bite before we go to the film? Here's another suggestion, okay? He's asking for another suggestion. So it's another request. So he's saying, shall we? It's a very polite way, okay? So shall we have a bite before the film? So he says, sure, sounds great. What about going to that new Italian restaurant, Giovanni's? What about going to that new Italian restaurant, Giovanni's? And he's agreeing, so he says, great idea. Let's meet there at 6. Okay, I'll see you at 6. I'll see you at Giovanni's at 6. Bye. Bye. All right, now let's answer some questions. Okay, so key vocabulary. Would you like to? Okay, so this is here when we want to ask for make a request. Okay, so would you like to? So would you like to study English at your house? Would you like to see a movie? Would you like to have dinner with me? Would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? Okay, it's very polite. Or you can also say, where shall we go? Or what shall we do? Okay, where shall we go? Or what shall we do? So where shall we go? Well, let's go to the movies. Let's go to the movies. Or what shall we do? Well, let's go to the park. Okay? And another one, let's go to. It's another way of making a suggestion. Okay? Alright. Now here we have, why don't we go? It's another way of saying the same thing. Why don't we go to the movies? It's the same way of saying, shall we go to the movies? Okay? Or let's go to the movies. This here is just more polite. It's a very polite way of saying it. Okay? Another way of saying it is, how about going to the movies? It's another polite way of saying something. Okay? And a last example is, what about going to the movies? What about going to the movies? What about going to? Alright, so to sum things up, today we have learned all about the house chores that we have. We've also learned about the different types of movie genres, and we've learned about making suggestions, making requests, and talking about things that we like, agreeing and disagreeing. Okay? And we will be able to talk about much, much more. Thank you and have a wonderful day.